Well, well, well. Here we are. What was that? What was there? Is this working? Working. We're good. We're good. Okay. Couple of things. First thing, we're obviously basically done with that page. The second thing, I could not turn this in its default size into a time lapse. It had to be scaled down to 1024 by 1024, and my God, does it look bad. It's very blurry. So I think that, in combination with the fact that the size gets a lot larger, is means that unless it's like a full assembled project, I'm gonna stick with a smaller canvas size. I didn't actually want to do this because um oh shit. I didn't want to do this because I liked drawing at the smaller slash larger scale, if that makes sense. But if I want to make decent looking time lapses, I'm gonna need to do this. Um, as far as I know, why that didn't work, did it? Wait a minute. Could have swore I had. I guess because I put it in that way. All right, but yeah, that's why for now, for like these things where I'm just drawing the same thing over and over again, I think we're gonna stick with this strategy. What? Hold on. What did I name? What did I name these? Eyes to see you. Okay. But yeah, I think we're gonna stick with this strategy for like mass drawing things. Oh boy. All right, so we're on that. Let's switch to 2. Now the problem with this is the scale at which I'm drawing now is different. So before, zoomed out this much, it would be really, really unseeable. But like this, it's pretty visible. That kind of fucks with like the perspective and like how I would draw it from the start, I guess. But hopefully it's not going to be a huge problem. This one is going to be tough actually because I don't know if I can symmetry tool it. So, um, I guess we'll just try it. I guess we'll no sim tool. Hold on. We will sim tool. We'll sim tool the bottom eyelid. Why does this one look longer than that one? Am I tripping? Well, whatever. All right, so the reason we're sim tooling is to get that spacing relatively right. So now we'll turn that off. We'll finish out like a rough sketch, if you will. And I have learned some things. So, namely, I learned a bit about colorized mask tool. Now, I don't know if that's going to help me here, but it is something I learned about and how to actually use. And I'm wondering, like, do I use it? You know, do people use it? Because I feel like it's probably a smart thing to use. It seems like it's a very useful tool. It would save me with like my base layer stuff. It's kind of like a previs of color, if you will. So I'm like wondering, is it like considered cheating? Oh shit. Oh no. All right. Simple solution to this. I don't even know if I need to do more than that. There we go. Yeah. Man, these are bigger than I realized. But yeah, I don't really, know if I should do it. I feel like I should because like I said, it gets a good base layer and then you can like add detail over that and like shading over that. But also it does come off looking really flat when I do it. Okay. Let's hopefully not spill water on ourselves this time. Have to change gloves. All right. We got that down. Why is my phone going off? Swear to God, if it's telling me that I'm live. No way. How did I know? All right. Okay. So now we can change this a little bit. This is kind of one I've been both dreading and looking forward to because this one is very different, right, than what we've been doing. Generally, they've been symmetrical enough that, you know, that it didn't really matter. Okay, so we got that. I feel like that's too small, though. Maybe we leave it anyway. Okay. I feel like the scale on this is way off. If you follow the gaming shit, there's a bit of an incident in Ark, if you will. Didn't go that well. And we've ended up rolling back the server, I believe. It seems like we're probably gonna be like in the middle of probably what would we have been doing? I guess I could probably actually technically check. I keep saying probably. Um but I think most likely would have been in the middle of the Revenant stuff. So it's not gonna be great. I don't know. Either we're already dead or we're gonna die as soon as we log in. But we've rolled back. We're gonna go for redemption. But I think the way I'm looking at it is, if we fail again, no more rollbacks. Either we commit to making like a proper small hit team for it, I guess, or uh, we just move on. Um, if you're wondering what happened was I died because I got on a Solwyn, and I don't think it would have mattered because Moo got to a stage where the boss fight requires all tames to be present to begin. And unfortunately, there's this major bug with Malwyn where they will teleport and just kind of disappear. Now, generally, they go to the Lost City, but when you're teleported to the boss arena, I think it's either an instance separate from that, so I have no idea where they teleport, or it teleported to the Lost City. But since it was part of the fight, it needed to be part of the fight, and since it wasn't part of the fight, he couldn't finish the fight. So we got kind of screwed. Uh, partially my fault, partially the Malwin's fault. Like I said, even if I didn't die, because I foolishly got on the Solwyn trying to. Basically, I got on the Solwyn to go and find missing creatures because apparently we had like a bunch of Occidons hiding who apparently were there, but I kind of died for nothing, but I didn't know that at the time. Um, but ultimately, it wouldn't have mattered because the Malwyn got lost, and there was just no continuing. Um, so because the Malwyn, bugged out, we kind of just figured we'll roll it back. If we fail, we fail. Also, apparently, I was right, and I had said I thought if you fail to complete it in time, you just get teleported out with all your stuff. I know if you die and everything gets wiped. Um, like in your inventory. Actually, not even because I died and my stuff was outside. So I thought everything. No, yeah, everything I thought was always just teleported out unless it died. Like if it died during the fight, it doesn't come back out. But if it was still alive when the fight technically ends, it's just over and everything gets kicked out. And apparently that is true. That is how it happens. Um, I don't know if that's how it always was, but I think the only time I ever failed one was because I ran out of time. I think on like a Chimera fight because it never landed. And it just teleported me out. So I assumed that that's the way it always was. Anyway, do we draw the stars now or do we draw them later? I feel like I draw an outline now and then we can hide this. I did a little. Where the fuck did it go? I ain't walking all the way over there. That's like 5 feet, man. Um, actually, I could probably. It's like one step. Anyway, I did a little experiment on my tablet with Krita, which is how I learned the colorized mask thing. But basically, how I was doing it was I drew a knife. It's called a puko. And I drew it because it's one of the simplest styles of knives. Like it's a fixed blade. It's got a very long, flat, angled grind where like the entire angle on part of the blade is actually the point, which is why a lot of people like them and a lot of people hate them. A lot of people like them because they're actually just really good for like carving or doing things outdoors. A lot of people hate it's also because the whole entire thing is like an edge almost. It's very, in my experience, it's quite robust, but also it's not robust in that the whole thing's the edge, and it's also kind of hard to sharpen if you're not too familiar with it because the whole thing is the edge. And I find that a lot of people will just put an edge on it and it kind of becomes like a finer edge, which is fine, I guess. But technically, I gotta grab it since I'm talking about it. We'll grab the tablet. Here's the knife. Okay. So here's what I'm talking about. I went for this and I chose this because it was just like simple colors and a very simple shape. But basically, this whole thing is actually an edge. It doesn't come to a point, right? It doesn't come to a like a. I mean, it comes to a point, but it doesn't come to like a smaller, finer, like V shape, if you will. Like this whole thing comes to a point as it is. Um, Instead of having like an incline that then comes to a small V that's actually that shape. Anyway, I used colorized mask. Let's see if I can open this real quick to just try and see how it works. Like I said, it seemed like it'd be easy. There's just a couple of colors. I wanted to see how it works. I had talked about learning it previously. Um, where the fuck? My SD card has corrupt files. What do you mean? I literally just got this thing. That's not ideal. I wonder if it's because the only thing I've saved to it is actually the Krita shit. So that's very not ideal. Okay. All right. So mostly as a test, I went for it, right? So that's it. Simple. It kind of came out, right? But the thing is, in order to get there, I actually did like multiple layers. So the first layer, I just went with the basic shapes. And then the next layer, you can just see both, I think. Hold up. Do we get it closer? There we go. So we went with the basic shapes, like a rectangle and a cylinder, basically. Um, and then after that, I like drew the shapes within it, and then I just like moved them once I like traced over that. And I felt like that kind of let me come out a little cleaner. So I was thinking about trying to like do like a very rough now, then go over it for even cleaner, which I kind of usually do, but I just leave them. But I don't know really how to do that with this. You know what I mean? Like, how do I take the shapes out of this when it's fucking star eyes? Was it like it's just a circle with triangles on it? I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure it works the same. I guess I probably should at least do like a more detailed layer. I just feel like though, so like I'm not really doing the whites of the eyes. Maybe I should. Um, but like, should I just draw a star and then fill that in and then like fill it in with smaller and smaller stars and then just hide that layer later? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Or do I just say fuck it and send it? I think maybe we just say fuck it and send it. Okay. Well, you know what? I guess technically now is the star layer anyway. Do I want to do stars? I feel like I do just because it seems stupid to me. Like, I don't know, it doesn't work, you know? I think I'd rather actually do they have this type of star. I think I'd rather do that. It's like the North Star star. I think I'm gonna do that instead of the 5 point classic, instead of starfish. Because I don't really I feel like it doesn't make any sense to Star of David this guy. What are we doing? But I feel like it's very anime-esque to have the North Star stars as eyes. And I think I'd like to do that instead. Um, the question is, do I want to do that? And how do I want to do that? So do I... No. So do I do this and have it end before it leaves the eye? Or do I let it leave the eye for a very anime-esque effect? Now, if I do that, it'll look cool. But it's not going to look very realistic. More importantly, if I do that now, it's not going to work because I need to color over out here. So this would have to be the last layer if I do that. Now I can just do what I'm doing right now and we'll go over it later. The problem is I want parts of it to show up under or not show up. I want it to be under the eyelash. I think that might be too big. Also, this doesn't really make sense now that I'm looking at it with the, like, why are you star-eyed with, like, pseudo angry eyes, you know? This is almost like the people's eyebrow or something. Unless it, wait, oh my god. I think the original intention was supposed to be like a wink. I just realized. I thought this was like, you know, questionably absurd statement given. So you're like looking at them with a raised brow and a scrunched brow, kind of like, what? Like almost upset that they are even fucking speaking. Which is actually how I assume most people look when they talk to me. I don't know. I can't look them in the eyes. So, you know, it's scary. But maybe that's what's supposed to be happening. Maybe this is a wink and it's not angry. For fuck's sake. Oh my god. It's actually, I think that's what it is. Anyway, I don't like the angle I've got these at, so we're gonna undo all of them. And we're gonna try and like just cleanly do this. So we want to do that. We're gonna have to get zoomed. Okay. Maybe we just kind of, oh, there we go. Maybe we just kind of come in anyway. I know I want this to be large, but I just feel like I can't do it. It's not gonna work right. Because we have to keep in mind that we gotta do the layers, because I'm gonna do the layer thing still. Even though I'm doing a different star type, I'm gonna try and do like white, orange, red, yellow, orange, but I might do it like white, orange, red, yellow, orange. Like I was originally thinking I'd try and fit it in, but I don't know if I can do that. Do, do, do. Oh, brother. Okay, so we got that. Now there's a pretty simple way to do this actually, and that's just to copy that and like rotate it, but it's not really gonna work out that well. Anyway, I was talking about the ARC stuff earlier, and big reason I'm mentioning it is because there's obviously not gonna be any recording today, because if I get on, bro's gonna die, you know? Also, I think the server is purposely off because of that, so, um, any extra recordings are not coming. Uh, okay. You see how fast I just gave up on that? So Control C, Control V. I just realized it's gonna be that much easier, so why would I not? Honestly, I think we kind of have to do this, right? Okay. So let's first off, how do I merge this? Merge with layer below. There we go. Then we'll switch to that. Okay. I guess I'll probably try and do an Icarus recording today. I don't know how that's gonna go. I think we're in the desert there, and I wanted to explore, but then I kind of realized there's no reason to explore, unless you're doing the contact stuff. So what I'll probably do is I gotta look up how to do the bosses. I thought it was actually through collecting trophies and like summoning them for some reason, but I think it might be through the contact thing only. Um, so I'm gonna have to like go and deal with that. All right. If I do this, will it lock the fuck in? You know what I mean? Will that lock in if I select a Deco tool? Or am I gonna have to choke a bitch? As Wayne Brady would say. All right. Do 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 do. Dum 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 dum. Okay. Should be just about. Oh god. Should be just about ready. So let's see what happens if I do this. So that is clean. Okay. And that's clean. All right. So I don't know that I need to do colorize mask for this. I just want to see if it works the same. I think so. So far it's been all the same on, like, honestly, in a bad way on Android, because there's like no hotkeys. It's all tap through. So all the hotkeys are keyboard based. So you got to like control V to do shit. And that's not really ideal for me because I don't actually use a keyboard for that. Not that I can't, it's just that who the fuck does? All right, so if I just do that and I just do that and then I update it, that should color those in. No, it colored in all of it. So why did that happen? Why did that happen? What did I miss? It's locked in. What if I leave it like that? No, that got rid of the colorized mask. Okay. That's interesting. I guess I got more to learn about the colorized mask. We're just gonna not do it right now. All I was trying to do was make this like a slight orange, so it's not really a big deal. Okay. So we're going to orange. Why am I doing this as orange anyway? Shouldn't this be like yellow? What am I doing? Okay. Let's zoom to fucking. So let's really darken that. All right. The very center apparently should be white, actually. So I don't know if this is gonna work. What if I use this and then shrink it a little bit? Okay. Sure. This does not at all have the same effect. It occurs to me as well, I should have just done the outline in red. So let's see about making some red happen here. I want it to be definitely a more orangey red. There we go. So what if I invert selection? We scoot on in. My defense, I did think the colorize thing was going to work. That doesn't really help that much, though, with what I was planning. I was going to colorize it and then trace around the colorize, but, I mean, that kind of is just what I'm doing now. So, yeah, it didn't really work too well. Welcome to Clown World. I'm the president. Call me President Clown. I just realized this is on the actual layer. That's not actually what I wanted, but fuck it. Who cares? Okay. Okay. So how am I supposed to do this exactly? Do we want this one? I don't know if that's how we want it. Let's go with this for now. That's too big of a brush size though, so let's scooch it down, shall we? You know, it occurs to me I should just do yellow and then redo the red. I am an idiot. I'm doing this like the dumbest way possible. What am I doing? It's weird. That almost feels right, except for this. See if we can't fix that. There we go. Oop. Okay. Not too terrible. Not really great, but it's not too terrible. Should be able to just like scoot that in like that. All right. So now we got to go back over with red. I know, we fucked up. Kind of just looks like ketchup and mustard, to be honest with you. Why is that like such an iconically stuck thing? Or even fucking McDonald's, I guess. Right? The classic yellow and red. Feel like anything else from McDonald's is cursed. Do do. I've also kind of found that I don't know, I end up kind of like drawing too fast sometimes. Cuz like I'm trying to do it and then I'll just kind of be like, okay, that's good enough. Oh, I just hit the mic. Sorry about that. But yeah, I end up being like, yeah, that's good enough. That's fine. Um, and then like I know I could do better. It's just like it's like everything doesn't feel like it's working out a lot of the time. So I'm just like, all right, that's we finally got something that's working a little bit. Before I do this thing that I feel like I always do, where it's like, oh, I hate that, right? I'll draw a line and I'm like, that's not it. So I'll just Control Z and I'll Control Z and I'll Control Z and until it's like it's basically no better than when I started. But I'm just like, fuck it, it's good enough. But like that's probably not actually good enough. I don't know. Maybe I should have just copied the regular star strat. Maybe that's why they did it. This kind of looks like ass. I think I might have too vibrant of an orange. Orange. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana. Meow. Meow. This definitely no longer has the like anime star eye look that I liked. Like we had it and then it's like it's just gone now. It feels more like I'm trying to draw a volcano erupting. Where is eraser tool? Here we go. Bum 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 bum. Mm-mm. Yikes. Okay. We're gonna get a little jiggy with it. I think we might have a little jigging we could do here. What if we enlighten it? And I do mean to enlighten. So the opacity is not very high. So that should like bring some of the harshness of the look down. Let's select, re-invert the selection. That should help like some of it blend a little better without like completely destroying the look. So if I zoom out, I feel like that helps a lot, but I still don't really like it. Like it takes away some of the harshness, but it still looks like ass. I think we just go with it though. Like what other option do we have? I'm sure we got a lot actually, but we always go with our first choice. Never make mistakes. We are infallible. Okay, well, I guess we'll just do the same thing since we didn't like any of that. You know, there's just a simpler way to do this. Look at that. Okay. All right. So now we go white. We just skadoosh. And then we go white. And then we go white. We're doing this one the better way rather than starting harsh because we obviously know a little better now. Okay. All right. You know, if I were smart, I would have just waited until this was done and copy pasted that, but I'm not. So, let's see if we can't pull this one off. It's going to look a lot different, which is kind of a problem, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck. All right, so if I do... All right, that's too much. If I do something like this, will this be okay? Okay. It's not terrible, so let's go ahead and clean it up a bit. All right. The neat part about this is I got to learn from my mistake. The problem is this site's going to look drastically different as a result. So it's like, on the one hand, I think it's going to look better. On the other hand, it's going to look so different that it's going to be a little weird. Although I do kind of want it to look different. Like, I don't want it to look exactly precisely the same. Especially since I did copy paste it. Like, I want it, you know, like we know, but somebody who looks at this later shouldn't know. We don't want them to know. Okay. We're gonna have to come back and hit some of these spots with a little bit of yellow. That's all right. That's okay. It's all right, ain't it, bud? Okay. So let's just like, you know, hit them with the touch-ups here. Hit it with that. Okay. All right. So now we'll hit it one last time with the slightly less opaque white. Clean it a little bit. Take away some of the harshness. Maybe one more. Looks like ass. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. God, I hate this. This is so fucking stupid. No. God damn it. All right. Okay. I do kind of wish now that I had gone out of the eyes with this, but I think we're too late. I don't know. We can always come back and do it, I guess, but I think for now, what I'd like to do, is the brows and the lashes or whatever. But that's not what I should do. We should go a little skin color esque. Um, fuck. How do I do this? Okay. So first off, we're gonna have to re-pick out some stuff. So let's see about how. Oh, we're on white. Of course, we're on white. Fuck you, you stupid son of a bastard. It's way too tan. Way too yellow. Maybe choose something towards the blue spectrum? I don't know. Ew. I feel like, I guess it's maybe the pen. I feel like I like this color in here, but if it's too light, it just looks like I've used like watercolor and it doesn't have like the same effect. If I do it too dark, I don't dislike the color, but like I feel like it's too harsh. Kind of the same problem we were having before. So I guess that's like a pressure issue. See, like I like this, but this is too harsh. This looks like somebody put their makeup on and like they just put some on and then they're gonna blend it in a second and it'll become that. I wonder if I change the opacity, will that help? So that if I that was not a lot of change to our opacity. That does kind of help. I don't mind this color. I just don't feel like it goes with the eyes very well. I almost feel like it's too much yellow, and orange. Okay. Why was that so ass? What if I just do this? All right. And then I erase. That seems like the stupidest way to do this, actually. Well, hold on. Does it? Hold on. How easy would it be to just, like, scoop? It wouldn't be that bad. I think the better way to do it, though, is to just, like, generally avoid it and then do touch-ups later. Which I don't even know if I'll need to do. Because something to consider is we're gonna eyelash over a lot of this. Like, I'm gonna try my best not to go over it, but we don't have to be that clean right now. Okay, so let's go and do a couple lines, not of Coke, unless, like, if you've got some, share, but yeah, not, I'm not doing any unless you're sharing. Never done Coke. It's a rich man's drug. I've also never done drugs, so in general. Not a huge drinker either. I know it's weird because like I enjoy tasting the flavors of most drinks, even if I don't like them. It's just kind of fun to know. But in general, I don't really feel like I'm seeking it out. It's like if it's there, it's cool. But if it's not, it's not cool. Okay. All right, well, this looks like complete and utter ass. So let's try and fix this, shall we? Okay. I kind of wanted the skin a bit darker than this, but we're just gonna fucking live with it. Okay. We don't have to be that clean around here. Like I said, we're probably gonna black over this for the lashes. Which, thinking about it, I could probably do blonde, right? People have blonde hair and thereby blonde lashes, right? Do blonde people have blonde lashes, actually? Wait a minute. Or are they just black? Do blonde people have souls? I assume not. You know? I wouldn't accredit one. Okay, all right. Oh, we want to change opacity. So this we do want pretty opaque. Right. Liquid hot magma. Okay, so we'll hit them with that. Then this kind of comes in like that. Nice to see you. Well, all right. Thought I could fix it, but I guess not. Nice to meet you, Potter. I both like and really hate this. I don't know. I feel like it's coming out good strategy wise, like the planning is kind of coming out, but like the execution is ass because I'm doing it. I hate it here. Jesus. I don't know. Maybe it would help if I just added these now. I was gonna wait. You know, I don't know what it is, but pretty much all of these eyes seem pretty femme. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but plus a male character could also just have that. It's not like a requirement, but I've also noticed that in general, like, art available is usually just like to work with. Maybe that's just what's getting shown to me from algorithms because maybe that's what I end up seeing, and thereby since I see it and it's good and I'm like, you know what, there it is. So I'm like, yeah, why not? But maybe it's like, well, oh, women, therefore only women. I've just realized I still have this selecto decode. Thank God I have it inverted. All right. No. All right. Well, we can finally fucking deselect that, I guess. Okay. Now, if I were smart, I'd be changing the angle of this brush at like every fucking opportunity I get. But I'm not, so I'm not, you know? And you can decide which I'm not was answered first. That's all I'm saying. That's all you get out of me, witch. Okay. Which? Speaking of the like femme eyelash thing, thinking about it, I feel like I have pretty long lashes. I don't know. I don't know that if you really think about it, like in art and like anime and media, it's always like I said, feminine to have like long lashes. Like think Betty Boop and her like scrapers, you know. But like I imagine it's probably more likely men have longer lashes because it's generally not taught to like cure for or care for them or like manicure. How would you landscape? What's the word here? I want to say manicure, even though that's like not that obviously, but like generally it's not taught to men to like trim their lashes and like brush them and care for them, and therefore they probably just grow out and then fall out. Whereas like styling lashes and putting on fake ones and whatnot, and like, you know what I mean, like I said, styling them, trimming them, bending them, which kind of damages them. It's kind of more taught to be a feminine thing in our society. So it's like, wouldn't that be more likely to create shorter lashes, technically? But I guess, you'd end up putting on fake lashes if they're broken. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna deviate from the oregano. Okay, so let's zoom out. That looks like ass. How do I fix that? Maybe like add some curvature here, and then we come in here. No, we can't do it. It's too close. Well, if we come in like here and start maybe like that, and then we straighten that, and then can we like really incurve in that? It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. What if, oh man, this is, can I do it? Hold on. Nope, not that one. What if I do this? Okay, hear me out. I just, you know, I feel like that helps a little, but not really. Okay, so let's undo. Yeah, I just don't think it helps. Okay. It's not worth it. It doesn't do anything, and then it just kind of like fucks around with the look. What if I do this? Does this help? It helps with the shape, but it doesn't really help. Okay. What if I do this? Okay. You know what? What am I doing? Let's just increase this a little bit. Just a smidgen. So we get like some real, like, how do I put it? Um, I guess like depth almost. Like try and foify the eye movement. Create some fake motion, if you will. How does that do? It helps, but also it somehow makes it worse, I feel like. I feel like I maybe need one like here. But that doesn't really even work. Was that the solution? Feels too dark, but maybe that's it. No, fuck, I forgot that that was on the same layer. See, now it looks real mad. Looks angry. That does help, though. Like, framing it a little bit. Okay. So now let's take this real quick. And let's lower the opacity. Let's try and do this. This is something I felt like was missing on the other ones. Can't do too much of it because it turns into whatever just happened there. Where I just kind of felt like there were just lines, and I'm hoping that this creates like a bit of a shadow almost appeal feeling. I don't know. But like it fills that like flatness that we end up having. I think it's just too opaque. All right, so let's zoom out. Yeah, it's way too opaque. Okay, we're undoing all of that. What if we retry? Okay, hold on. Hold on. What if we retry? Man, I really thought the darkness would be it. So what if we retry though with so let's select that color. And then let's go and huh? Okay. So we're on the color, but I don't there we go, I guess. What if I like just make it a little darker and we'll just like you know? Should have done this before like some of the darker stuff. But I wasn't really thinking about it because I just kind of had the idea right before doing it, you know, to try and like get some level of shading and depth going. Okay. All right. What am I doing? I don't know what this is here, but we're gonna leave it and we're gonna do that. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Warudo. Very cool. So what if I zoom out from this? Looks like there's Cheeto dust all over, bro. Alright, that didn't work out. Motherfucker. Damn you to hell. Bro's got jaundice. Jaundice. Dick. Alright. So here's what I'm gonna do. I just realized that this was an every layer procedure. Fuck, where... Okay, it ended up on the latest layer, which is fine. I guess. Would have been better if it ended up there. Alright, so let's do one more final layer. Maybe. What if we do this? So they got like a star near each eye. I think I might just do a star like either here. You know what? We'll do two as well, but we'll do it a little differently. We're going to do them differently than before as well. Okay, so we do want the opacity now, but we're going to come back over it later. Okay. Perfect. And by perfect, I mean that shit's ass. We'll do maybe one down here. Okay. And then I either want to do it there or there, but I don't want to do 4. Feel like it's real empty up here, but also feel like it's real empty down here. Okay. So now the strategery is going to be hit it with the red. Hit it with the red. And this one will be red. Red. I don't know that there's really, like, this is not a real thing, so I don't know that there's really a reason to follow some sort of physical law with these. I think it's just all about the fun of it. So we can have fun around here, right? Let's do that. All right, now we'll change the opacity and we'll just scoop the whole thing up. Okay, that's a little pinker than I was hoping for on the reds, but that's fine. Who the fuck cares? Nobody's looking at my garbage art anyway, so fuck them. Nobody's gonna complain. Can't complain if you don't see it. Think on that. I feel like I should have done yellow instead of the orange. I don't know. Am I crazy? I feel like yellow's better than orange. Maybe it's just the shade of orange I picked. Sorry, orange. My bad, my bad. My mistake. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at this. And it's not great. Shit. All right. I'm going to create a group for this. What are we on? Hold on. Open recent. Okay, we are on 6. I thought so. Yes, 6. Cool. Okay. So, I want to look at this one for a second. I really genuinely feel like the eyes are somehow like that. But when I moved them, they felt right, but also felt then like it was like that on this one. I think what it is this and this are like that, so they're right. But then this combined with this gives the impression that since this connects so well with that and then this doesn't connect well with that, it gives the impression that it's at like an angle, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's an illusion to do with the fact that these are at an angle that also happens to match that really well. So like the whole thing looks turned, but because this one is like cut off and doesn't match as well, because we were trying to make like that drooped eye, I guess. It just gives the impression that it's very crooked. It might not be like centered, and perfectly level or anything, but it really throws it off because of the fact that this is wrong here, this is at that same angle as that, and then like all of that kind of combines. So it kind of just looks like how I didn't want it to look, and it looks like I symmetry tooled just the one eye, and then I went in and changed this. I don't know how I managed to do that. Like the whole reason I only symmetry tooled the bottom was to get them relatively aligned. Like this had nothing to do with any of that. I think I needed to make this lower, so this needs to be like there. Um, and then like more curved. Like I didn't put enough curve in it. I think that would have helped. And maybe like move this up to here. Now, if I knew how to do it, I would. But I've seen like time lapses where they like warp the whole fucking image. So like they'll just draw the same eye, and they'll symmetry tool it so they'll have two eyes, they're perfectly the same, then they'll like unsymmetry tool, and then they have like this warp thing that like moves the line so that it like inverts here and like moves the eyeball. It's like some sort of gravity well tool, and I don't know what that is. It might not be available for Krita. Maybe it's fucking AI. I don't know. But that only seemed useful to me. But also, it does seem a bit like cheating in that how am I going to learn if I'm just doing that? Um, but I think overall this was a pretty good one. Like I don't think the end result looks good because this is so awkward here. But in terms of like actually doing things in a better order, we did that, right? We put the eyelashes over the main skin layer instead of doing it backwards. I know we kind of fucked up by not doing that other skin layer first, but I didn't even think about doing it until then for the shading. But now we know for next time, right? We did the base trace and then the eyeball and then, the thing and then the eye, what, right? We actually kind of followed through kind of decently on that. Um, we could not use colorized mask. That's fine. I don't know that it really would have helped for any of this. Like all it would have done is acted like fill tool. So, uh, let me just quickly save. We'll call this eyes to see you do. Haha. Even though it's technically one. if you were to name from 0 through, you know. Anyway, let's just open a new thing real quick. This is just going to be a test. We're probably not even going to save this. But I just want to check some like colorized mask stuff because I felt like it worked differently on the tablet. So we'll draw a square, we'll draw a triangle, and we're going to make sure that they're pretty sealed off. And then let's draw a circle. So when I did it last night on the tablet, I feel like it combined colors pretty well. The only thing I noticed was that the background did get weirdly like gray. But I thought it was supposed to like handle some level of like overlap. So let's just take this is perfect. We have red here. We have yellow here. And we'll do blue here. So if I tell that to do its thing, it doesn't do it. I mean, it does it, but it doesn't do it the way I expected it to. So what you would then do is, hold on, where is it? There. So now you have that, right? You don't see the lines, you have the mask, and that helps. Now there's a few ways you can do this. You can leave this. This could be like part of your coloring process, and then you shade over this on a different layer. If I'm not mistaken, you can do that anyway. Yeah, so you could just do that. Um, maybe what I was supposed to do. Okay. Maybe what you're, huh? Okay. So maybe what you're supposed to do is this, and maybe this will mix it. So then we got red there. So this shouldn't have filled in with anything, interestingly enough. And I'm not quite sure why the background turned yellow. So now if I re-render it, will this do anything? Not really. Okay, so there's no like color mixing. I guess I just imagined that. Now this is kind of fine. Um, so what happens then if I we'll just get rid of it all. So if I update this, this should get rid of everything. Okay. So that gives this weird bloom. Okay, so if I get rid of that, if I get rid of that, if I hide that, does that look any different? No. Okay, so we'll redo it. All right, so this is basically just gonna be good for, you know what? All right, hold on. Let's just erase everything real quick. I know, it doesn't matter. We're not saving this. So let's just do like a very, very quick, rough. Oh God. Oh geez. Okay. You know what? We'll do it super rough. There we go. Okay. That might be. Hold on. It's turned into a fucking alien. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So apparently this is a fucking alien. Um. So as an alien, we're gonna give it a. Oh, does it still have the color shit? What is going on? Hello? let's delete this and we'll just do a new one because that is scuffed as shit. So colorize mask. So we'll make these gray, hopefully, because it tends to turn black gray. Bro's gonna have a red in his mouth, and you know what? He's just gonna be a little green man. All right, so that should be it. So if I hit this, will it manage? Okay. So then I hide that, and that's too dark. What if I hide that and then that? Okay. But this shows the initial marks. Okay. Now, the problem with this, let's see what happens if I do a new layer. Yeah, the problem with this is this background thing. Is there a way to make it so that this background doesn't show up through it? Because that's kind of not working for me. This would be really great. Hold on. I mean, I guess what I can do. So let's just, you know, undo, undo, hit that with that and re-render. Will that work? And then, okay. So yeah, I guess what I can do is I can just force it. But then that problem, it could arise that if I've got too much going on in the back, it might change the fact of like the background colors. Bro turned fucking green. I guess it's either a tool I'm gonna have to just ignore because it's too complicated, or I'm gonna have to like really learn. I don't know, maybe I need to do like, can I change its settings? No. Not really. I don't know. Maybe it's a filter I need. I'm not quite sure, but I think there's a lot I have to like learn about colorize mask before I actually do anything with it. I guess we'll go back to this. Definitely need new brushes. I need to like, I feel like I need cleaner lines. Like this just looks super sloppy to me. I need better planning, right? I didn't want to make this too small. I felt like it was going to look really weird, but looking at it now, it ended up the same height as this, and it just shouldn't have, right? It should end like right here. But like I also didn't really like, there's only so much you can compare from over here to over there, you know what I mean? Like this does look smaller, especially if you're like looking at this. It looks way smaller than that. But then like when you look here, it looks smaller, but like only here. So I needed it to be way smaller. So it's like a scale thing I've got to work on. Um, so what do we got? We got scale. We've gotten better at planning, but we still need to get better at that. We need more brush experience. Figure out the colorize mask tool if it's even going to be useful to us. More detail shit, right? Like we kind of, I think I had a thing for this and then I forgot to redarken it. Um, we got to get better at angles. Like this should be like further back. So perspective. Uh, and we got to sometimes just ignore like the fact that things look wrong because I don't think it's that bad if I just like ignore the fact that it kind of just makes me feel like it's spinning. Oh fuck, we're on white. It makes me feel like it's kind of like going like that, and I just so happen to see it starting. So it's like, you know, I don't know. But if I ignore that, it's actually not that bad. Like we could work with this. I also got to learn about maybe like some sort of morph tool. I don't know if there's one in Krita, and we got to learn about like late game editing. So maybe I should really start getting in the habit of uh-oh. Did I guess I ungroup this somehow? But we got to get in the habit of late game editing. So I got to probably start naming my layers because half the time when I hover over something, it doesn't show me what the layer is. Um, there we go. So that could be pretty problematic later on. Anyway, for now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. Um, we got a lot of work to do. I feel like eyes have somehow been more challenging than mouths. I guess because there's kind of more to it. Like I could just do teeth, like outer layer, tooth layer, tongue layer, and that's it basically. And then like a detail to like refine things. Whereas for this, it's like kind of no shortcuts because I can't even chop off the eyes sometimes. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging around. Should be on later tonight, probably Arc. I don't know, but we'll see what's going on. But until then, bye.